Now it's drowning in our lives. I know we're broken up. You know the feelings deep inside. So what? You, what we've been through. I miss you, and you can't lie. You miss me too. If I roll through, but you.
She was our age, and it's just scary because that could have been any one of us. She was an angel, and I know that now she's with God.
What's up, what's up? This is Beyonce on the red carpet with one of the hottest female artists out here, Miss Aaliyah. How you doing, girl?
It's so good to see you again.
You too.
So beautiful on the inside as well as out. She was the first artist to embrace Destiny's Child. She was always super, super nice and super talented.
What's up, everybody? I'm sorry I couldn't be there to hang out with you guys and kick it with my girls, Destiny's Child and Black. But I just want to tell you, I miss all of you. I miss home.
In today's video, we're going to be talking about this post I stumbled across on Instagram of this Aaliyah fan page asking whether or not Aaliyah and Beyonce were friends. And there's like this little clip of Aaliyah in Paris with some girl who resembles Beyonce, and they basically want to know if this was Beyonce in Paris with Aaliyah in 2001. So we're going to be running over that. So without further more to say, like, comment, and subscribe. Turn on your bell post notifications so that you'll be notified every time I drop a video. Let's get into today's video. So starting off, we're just going to get right into the comments. So the comment just well, first and foremost, this post was by 90s Things on Instagram if you want to go check it out for yourself. But for the caption, she just put,
so I was watching Aaliyah's MTV Diary. As I was watching it, got this part. I noticed Aaliyah was talking to a girl, and I thought it could be Beyonce. Could they have linked up at the time in 2001, right before Aaliyah's untimely passing? And they just so happened to be in Paris because y'all know, around 2001, Beyonce was in Destiny's Child, along with fellow members and friends Kelly Rowland and Michelle Williams, which they did state that they hung out with Aaliyah before she passed. So could this be around that particular time frame?
People are silly, like, and this is no disrespect to the page. Let me put that out there. This is not to make anybody feel any type of way. I'm just speaking on the situation and giving my point of view. I am not downgrading anybody else's opinions and beliefs. If you want to believe that this is Beyonce, you can. And this is just me answering her question from my point of view and with my opinions and my thoughts. So this is not to disrespect anyone. So if I come up as like I'm disrespecting this page or anyone, I apologize. I'm not. It's just the way I say things. It sounds disrespectful. So I apologize ahead of time. So first and foremost, I'm just going to say, well, first of all, I'm going to start out by saying, no, this is not Beyonce. Were Beyonce and Aaliyah friends? No. Personally, I say no. I don't think that they were friends like that. They were just more of industry associates. And I've said this before. It's like you going to work and you talk to someone at your job, but you're not friends. You're just associates. And I think that's how it was with Aaliyah and Beyonce. They were just industry friends. It wasn't like friends behind the work. It was strictly friends who did the same thing, or not even friends, associates who did the same thing. And they would just bump paths from time to time. That's how I think it was. You can think what you want to think, but this is just my personal opinions, and I bet money that I'm correct, that they weren't friends like that. And a lot of people, they say that Beyonce and Aaliyah were friends as if they were friends like Aaliyah and Kidada. It wasn't like that at all. I'm pretty sure just the way they were talking to each other when they seen each other didn't sound like friends.
Miss Aaliyah, how you doing, girl?
It's so good to see you again.
You too.
It didn't sound like they hung out very much. Maybe just on a couple occasions, and Aaliyah only hung out with them because of Fatima working with Destiny's Child on their choreography. That's it. It was just work. On the red carpet when, you know, Beyonce was interviewing Aaliyah, Aaliyah said, "It's so nice to see you again." You don't say that to your best friend, or you don't say that to your friend in general. You know, especially if you're hanging out a lot. They only hung out when it came to business. And yes, I do think that they could have possibly exchanged numbers and hung out, like I said, occasionally. But it wasn't like, yeah, come to my house and stay the night. You're my friend. No, it wasn't like that. I'm pretty sure they never went to her house. It was probably just mutual. She is basically asking if this is Beyonce in this photo. And personally, I say no. And one is because Beyonce did not really, I don't think she ever wore beads in her hair. I mean, she was known for wearing braids, but not beads. Especially around 2001. Aaliyah wasn't messing with Beyonce like that. And they already had tension because they were messing around with the same man. Why would you be hanging out with a person who, and it's not like Aaliyah even wanted Jay-Z, but still, she was still infatuated with Jay-Z. You know, she had some dealings with him, hanging out, whatever. And he was also talking to Beyonce. What, you know, why would they be friends? Especially around that time. If Beyonce was in Paris with Aaliyah, I'm pretty sure they would have got her on the MTV series or the documentary. She was nowhere on camera, you know, and Aaliyah was very sweet. She would love to show off her friends, I'm sure. She would have put her in the camera. Beyonce was not in Paris with Aaliyah. You never see Kelly Rowland and Michelle ever say that they, you know, hung out with Aaliyah a lot. It was always Beyonce who would say that. Beyonce just spoke the most about Aaliyah. Weird enough. And she would never let the other ones talk. They would get a few words in, but it was always Beyonce talking about Aaliyah. But I think that they were friends just from around the way. I'm sure Aaliyah would see them at events and they would exchange conversations. Yeah, you know, I just got my license, so I'm very excited about that. You know, and then Beyonce, she was on an interview. She was like, Aaliyah, she was so happy she just had got her license. That's probably just something she told her along the way. It wasn't, you know. And I thought that this would be a really good video because, I mean, it is a good theory, you know. It is a good question because some people really don't know anything. And some people can't tell the difference between regular people and celebrities. And they get the two mixed up. So to think that this is Beyonce is understandable. I mean, she's the same complexion. Same hair color, everything. This is definitely not Beyonce. I don't know who it is. I can't tell you that. But she does give off Beyonce, doesn't she? But like I said, Beyonce never wore beads. And I just don't think that they were cool. Like, I'm just going to keep repeating myself because it is what it is, right? I don't think they hung out that much because every time they saw each other, it was just an awkward situation. They didn't really seem comfortable enough to have been friends. There was another comment that I want to add into this video because it makes really good sense. And some people know and some people don't. People be putting two and two together like I do. And they come to the conclusion that, you know, some things is just, they are what they are. And just like this situation, it is what it is. Beyonce and Aaliyah were not friends like that. Yeah, of course, Aaliyah probably took them out to the Chicken and Waffle House or whatever. But, I mean, in order to get to know someone, you have to hang out with them. You have to take them out and do things. But I don't think it was like that. You know, Aaliyah was just kind. She was making a lot of friends in the industry. Anyways, this comment just says, if Beyonce and Aaliyah were friends, Beyonce would have been at Aaliyah's funeral. Give a round of applause to this comment. And I'm not gonna expose who this is, but you know who you are. This is very, very relevant and it makes a lot of sense. And a lot of people say that Aaliyah and Brandy were friends. And Brandy was not at the funeral. And I actually heard that Brandy did not get an invite to the funeral. I wonder why. If that's true, anything's possible. But I definitely think that this could be the case. A lot of people didn't come to Aaliyah's funeral. Kidada wasn't there. A lot of people say her uncle was there. I have yet to see any pictures of him. If y'all seen any pictures of him at the funeral, let me know. I didn't see Beyonce, who was supposed to be her friend. Brandy allegedly didn't get an invite. And, you know, it was just certain people who were jealous of Aaliyah. We hear all these stories about Brandy and Beyonce the most. Brandy was always throwing shade towards Aaliyah. Like, I don't know what her problem was towards Aaliyah and why she was so jealous when she could have literally just been friends with Aaliyah. And it was said that Aaliyah was sending Brandy flowers to congratulate her, and Aaliyah was just being an adult at a very young age. And then you had Brandy throwing shots at Aaliyah, and like Aaliyah said, she caught wind of some of it. She heard a little bit of what Brandy was saying behind her back, and like she said, there was room out there for everyone, and she wished Brandy good luck, right? So clearly Brandy was throwing shade. People act like they don't know that Brandy was throwing shade or that she wasn't. Aaliyah addressed it in a more adult way. Also, I was watching this interview, and I really do want to react to it and talk about it, but it was Brandy and her mom, and they were on this interview, and they were talking about how the mom, she was like, I could never let my daughter show her midriff and this and that. And I'm just like, that's a blow to Aaliyah, because Aaliyah was the main one who brought the midriff to life, and that's what she was known for, and that's who we found it out from. And when I tell you, they were just jealous for no reason. And then y'all seen that interview with Brandy. I think it was recent actually, probably like from a few years ago, and she was talking about Aaliyah, and she was basically saying how, you know, she was trying to have that Aaliyah style going on in her music or in one of her songs, and whoever she was working with, the dude, he told her to kind of switch it up a little bit. She don't want to be just like Aaliyah. And a lot of people was just jocking Aaliyah. They were jealous. Jealous can be an ugly thing, you know, and success can come with a lot of jealousy and envy, which it did for Aaliyah. And Aaliyah was just trying to uplift everybody, but everybody was just trying to keep her down and diss her, and then she would just be like, you know, good luck to them, and then they'd be like, I didn't mean it as a diss, you know. Low-key they did. Beyonce would throw shade. One of the hottest. Like, did she really have to say that? And Aaliyah knew. Why did Beyonce have to say that, though? And Aaliyah's face, she was like, no, she did not just say this. I know for a fact. I'm just going to say a fact because I believe in myself, and usually I'm never wrong. I've been talking about this stuff with Aaliyah, her different situations since I started my YouTube channel, and lo and behold, all of this stuff that I've been talking about just has been coming out. So far, I have not been wrong. So I trust myself 100% or 90%, because I'm not going to get the big head and say I know everything. I don't. But I know for a fact this is not Beyonce at all. Aaliyah didn't mess with Beyonce like that, and it's obvious. The interview I put in the front where Aaliyah was saying she was apologizing for not being able to show up and hang out with Destiny's Child and Black. She said that because she couldn't attend an event that they probably were all going to be at, right? And it's always business, like I said. She only saw them when it was business. That does not make you friends. I'm pretty sure Aaliyah considered everybody a friend because she was just sweet, but it wasn't like that at all. And if that was the case, Beyonce wouldn't be throwing all this shade still to this day, especially in Diva when she said no passengers on my plane. That was the biggest blow, and I cannot find it anywhere. But on one of her documentaries, she had a plane rolling down her leg, like a toy plane that she was holding, and she was running it down her leg like it was crashing. I have not been able to find that since people have came out about their stories with Aaliyah and what really happened. Beyonce has just been throwing shade. So what if she put on one Aaliyah shirt and a couple tributes after Aaliyah died? That was just to kickstart her career, you know, and to let people know that she was there to take Aaliyah's spot. That wasn't a tribute. And every time she talked about Aaliyah after Aaliyah passed away, Michelle and Kelly, they were just like, this girl's a total liar. Beyonce did not care about Aaliyah. She didn't even care about her own group members, even the ones before the final group. LaToya Luckett, she made sure to say that Aaliyah checked on her after she got fired. Aaliyah knew Beyonce was fake. She checked on LaToya Luckett. Beyonce wished she could hang out with Aaliyah like this and go all the way to Paris. They weren't like that. They weren't like this. They were like this. They were associates. They were industry artists that ran into each other from time to time, or ran into each other because of Fatima, or Beyonce seemed to have worked with everybody Aaliyah was working with, so of course they were gonna link. Like I said, the biggest one is Beyonce was not at her friend's funeral. Why? Everybody else was there. Jay-Z was there. I mean, everybody. Busta Rhymes, Timbaland, everybody. People I didn't even think would be there were there. But the ones that was allegedly, I'm not even gonna say alleged, the ones that were hating on Aaliyah were not there. Brandy wasn't there, Beyonce wasn't there, and I feel like Kidada was low-key jealous of Aaliyah too. That's another video. Although they were best friends, she was jealous too. And you could definitely see it, and it is what it is. Success comes with a lot of jealousy. It will turn your bestest friends against you. And it happens in today's time. Beyonce didn't have it like that. This is not Beyonce in Paris with Aaliyah. She wishes. There's this footage that exists, but I cannot find it anywhere. It's like very rare. It wasn't at first when I first got into Aaliyah. It was everywhere. But now somebody swiped it off and it's nowhere to be found. I just recently seen it like a few years ago and I saved it to Instagram, but I don't know if it's still there. But it was a interview of Aaliyah on Daily Carson, and she was being interviewed, and it's the time when she, I think, had on this outfit. And Daily Carson, he was like, what do you think about Beyonce? And at this time, Beyonce was with Destiny's Child, so it wouldn't make no sense for him to have asked her about Beyonce only. But he did. And he was like, what do you think about Beyonce? Or Beyonce's I'm a Survivor song. Or he asked her about something that has something to do with Beyonce. And Aaliyah was like, she looked annoyed. She was like Beyonce said, she won't stop, can't stop. Something wasn't right. Something wasn't right. And a lot of people, they keep telling me, like, if you rewind Rock the Boat, she's saying you wanted Beyonce. So if y'all know this, why is it hard for y'all to believe they weren't friends? It was basically like going up against each other, but Aaliyah was not going to do that. So Beyonce was willing to go up against Aaliyah and to knock her off the radar to be to the top and to be with Jay-Z. And that's what happened. And Aaliyah, I don't think she was ever running, but she wasn't running from whoever was chasing after her. I do think she was scared, hence her dream, but she wasn't finna let them run her away. If y'all can answer that question, that comment as to why Beyonce wasn't at her funeral, maybe I'll, consider maybe they were friends. But her own best friend wasn't there, and it has nothing to do with coping in a different way. We're not even gonna pretend like people cope in their own ways. Like, you would want to be there to see your friend for the last time, right? Why weren't you there? I think there was tension between a lot of her friends. We just don't know, because back then they didn't run to the media and talk about it. They kept it under wraps, so you really don't know. It's totally different today. People run to the internet. You'll know everything that's going on and what happened. But back then they were very sacred. That's a really good question. Why wasn't Beyonce, if they were friends, why wasn't she at the funeral? I never even thought of that. I mean, of course, I never expected her to be there. I wouldn't expect her to be there because I know they weren't friends. That's why I never thought of it. Now that I'm thinking about it with this comment, it makes, it just makes you look at it in a different perspective. Yeah, no, this is not Beyonce hanging out with Aaliyah in Paris. And as much as y'all want them to be, or want them to have been friends, I don't think it was like that. One more thing I want to mention too is that in interviews, Aaliyah would always mention her best friend, Kidada. Always. That was a friend to Aaliyah. Aaliyah never mentioned Beyonce. She even mentioned Jay-Z in interviews. Damon was talked about in one interview. Her closest friends, she never mentioned Beyonce. Ever. She never spoke on Beyonce. She never said that her and Beyonce were friends. I don't know. You guys let me know what you think. But this is just my opinions. Like I said, I'm not bashing anyone. I'm not downgrading anyone's opinions because all opinions matter. This is just me basically answering her question whether or not this was Beyonce in Paris with Aaliyah in 2001. I say no. Like I said, she mentioned that they would hang out sometimes, or Beyonce mentioned that. I just think that they hung out when it was business related. It wasn't nothing more, nothing less. It was business. Keep up with the great theories, I guess. So you guys let me know what you think. Like, comment, subscribe, and I will see you guys. Stay crazy.
Do you remember that one night when we fell in love? And what we had felt so right, 'cause we had trust. Now it's drowning in our lives. I know we're broken up. You know the feelings deep inside. So what's you, what we've been through?